Hello and welcome to the live Thursday edition of the Ellen Carrington Show, where just about anything and everything is discussed. Today's show, if you could date any wrestler, wow, doesn't matter if you're single, married, or whatever, just put that aside. Give me your comments today, and we'll read some of your favorites. I have a sure story today. I'm sure some women who are listening will identify with about some things my man has done recently. And I'm going to put the biggie on in a little bit, so bear with me. A little background first. He and I originally met in the late 90s at a Steelers training camp in Latrobe, PA. I'm sure many of you go there every year if you live in the Pittsburgh area or if you travel from out of town. It's a fun experience. But I digress. The odd thing is we both worked at Three Rivers Stadium at the time, but we never encountered one another prior to the initial meeting at St. Vincent's College during training camp. I had been working at a job in one of the offices at Three Rivers, and he worked concessions during the games, which can pretty much explain why we didn't know each other, working for the same employer. I guess it happens to the best of us. We lost touch with one another for several years after Three Rivers was closed and eventually imploded to make way for Heinz Field and PNC Park and all those nice places. And he went on to study for a second college degree. And right now he has two. The one is in finance and the other is in communications. And about 8 months ago, I received an odd request on Facebook. And I checked out the page, as I do before I approve or deny anyone who sends friend requests. And while the name sounded familiar, I sent out a message before approving the request. Now, when he wrote back, the very first thing he mentioned was that meeting at St. Vincent's College during training camp. And currently, he lives an hour from Pittsburgh. So I know this was the guy I talked to all those years ago. And long story short, I approved his friend request. We went on to talk on Facebook for a while longer before going out on a few coffee dates, kind of take things slow, get to know each other again. And we officially got together this past August, and we've put up with each other since. Yes, there's a 12-year age difference between him and I. So you want to insert Kruger jokes, go nuts. He's knocking on the door of his 40s. He just turned 39 on March 8th. So it isn't like I'm running around with a guy younger than the majority of my nieces and nephews. So get your minds out of the gutter, people. I'm not that bad. I don't look at guys under 35. That's pretty much a given. Now, if a guy has nice eyes and a great butt, I may make an exception on looking, but that's as far as it's going to get. And speaking of guts, here's the story I'm about to tell you about the man's latest mishap. And it involves my MP3 player. During one of his recent weekend visits, I've been charging my old player on a table by my couch using the outlet jack instead of my computer's USB port since I wanted to rearrange my desk. One of the cats must have mistaken my MP3 player for a cat toy and swatted it onto the couch during a quote-unquote use the living room as a NASCAR racetrack moment. Because when the man sat down without looking, as he always does before he plops anywhere, a loud crunch followed. You guessed it, ladies and gentlemen. He sat on my MP3 player. Well, here's the positive side of everything. It's a good thing my music and photos were backed up, or he'd been in some serious trouble. And he felt guilty enough to replace it, bless his heart. And I must say things happen for a reason because the replacement MP3 player that he bought me is far better than the one he broke. So maybe the old one was meant to be put on the couch for his butt to sit on. I have a lot more music storage for starters, and I can even download books, which is pretty cool. I can sit on the bus and read e-books. That would be great. So, long story short, I forgave him for breaking the old MP3 player. Now there's today's off-topic story out of the way. Let's move on to the main subject of our show, which I originally found on the few wrestling message boards that I visit on a regular basis. The chat feature and show wall are open, so post your thoughts on today's question if you dare. I might even read them if I'm nice. Nah, I'll read them. So here's today's question. If you could go out with any wrestler, who would it be and why? Put aside your marital status or whatever, you have a boyfriend or girlfriend for the moment, as I mentioned earlier, and think about it. It can be anyone from independent promotions, TNA, WWE, backyard wrestling, you wrestle each other, whatever. And both males and females are invited to answer the question. So we're an equal opportunity radio show here. There were many names mentioned on the message board thread that I referred to earlier. I won't bring up the site because I don't want to embarrass anyone or get anyone in trouble with their spouses or their significant others or whatever the case may be. And the majority of responses came from younger men, which doesn't surprise me in the least. But a few women, including myself, we chimed in it as well. So I'm going to bring up some of the top names that were mentioned on the board thread, and what other people mentioned too that sent me emails. So here we go. I have AJ Lee of WWE. She got a lot of responses. You know what? I'm not going to blame any of the guys for that because, I think she's kind of a cutie. If I was a guy, I would have picked her too. Another one I liked, and a lot of guys chose, was Caitlyn from WWE. Hey, good choice there, fellas. Some more WWE girls. Layla, Natalia, Alicia Fox, Tamina, well, however you pronounce it. The guy who's madly in love with her, he can help me out with that. Anyway, somebody piped in with John Cena, and you kind of knew that was going to come up eventually, if not sooner. Dean Ambrose. Could be from a female poster, but I'm not sure. But hey, if guys want to date him too, I'm not going to penalize you. Go nuts. Somebody said they would go out with Fandango. No problem there. He seems like a pretty fun guy. Another female poster, she said all of the WWE's The Shield. Now, whether she meant go out with them at once or on different occasions remains to be seen. In the meanwhile, I'll keep my mind out of the gutter on that one. I have Vita Scott from Ring of Honor. Formerly of WWE, they are Molly Holly and Ivory. It's kind of nice to see those names. A couple old names, Kevin Nash or young Shawn Michaels. Athena of Shimmer. I don't follow that promotion, so anyone who does, they can, chime in on that and maybe inform me a little bit. Sarah Stock. Some of you probably remember her as Sarita, and she's still out there. Very talented lady, kind of attractive. Some TNA ladies. Taylor Hendricks, Brooke Tessmacher, and Mickie James. Good choices. We have cheerleader Melissa. And with that, it's kind of great to see women from independent federations get their shout out too. So these gals work hard and they don't get much appreciation. So the people who do appreciate them, hey, big kudos to you. And speaking of the independents, a woman mentioned that she'd date a gentleman by the name, I don't know if he's from a local federation in her area or somewhere else. I'm not familiar with the name, so if you know who this guy is, educate me. I'm always open for new things. Name is Cassius Ono. And seeing a photo of her with this man, gotta agree she'd be happy to go out with him because the guy is kind of smoking, to say the least. I'm trying to keep it clean here, folks, because I don't know if there's any younger listeners today or not, but nevertheless. Okay, now you want to know mine, right? Of course you do. I have a few guys, and the man's probably going to, the man's going to give me shit for this. And you know what? I don't care. Kidman is one of my choices. Yes, I said it. And I'm going to probably get a lot of flack and a lot of fat jokes about the guy aimed in my direction, but you know what? I like to see one person who looks the same when they're about to enter their 40s as they did at age 25. Guess what, guys? Not going to happen. Believe me, been there, done that, got the t-shirt. May I add that no one will ever accuse me of being shallow. Case in point, my current man. Now while he doesn't break mirrors and scare old people, Calvin Klein's not exactly going to be knocking on his door either. And I also help run the Kidman Facebook fan page, and we're over 100 or 550 members strong as of today's show, so you could say I'm a little biased right there. This is just a handful of responses people wrote on the message board question or sent me. Tell me what you think, whether during the live broadcast or even after the show. I'm very interested in your responses. Geez. Wow. Anyway, now that I have some creative and perhaps dirty minds in motion, if you have any suggestions about what you'd like to hear on upcoming shows, give me a shout out on Twitter at LACarrington1. Post your ideas on the show wall or the Facebook page, or shoot me another email. I'll read many as possible, and perhaps one of your ideas could turn into an episode. On a side note, today is National Pet Day, so you have a furry, scaly, or feathered member of the family. Be sure to give them lots of extra love, petting, and perhaps a special treat. Okay, speaking of dating, let's find some crazy Craigslist ads for the day from Pittsburgh. I'm sure a few of you could use some laughs. Alright. Oh, we are going to be in Women Seeking Men. Here we go. Alright. FWB for life. Indiana. I'm guessing Indiana, PA. Otherwise, why post in the Pittsburgh ads? I have never posted on CL before, so this is the first time for me. Let's get to it. I'm married and not looking to change my living situation at all. I'm looking for a friends with benefits. Please be between the ages of 25 and 35 and include face pic and be in my area. You're married but not looking. In other words, she's looking for a side piece, guys. I think that one doesn't warrant any more comments. BBW looking for my Mr. Right. She's 27 and lives in Forest Hills. Hello, mixed sexy BBW here, looking to chill and get to know someone. Maybe something long term. I work full time, so I don't go out much. I'm looking for a sexy man who loves thicker women and likes to be romantic. Please be close to the Forest Hills area. I have pics. Please send pic with response. Hope to hear from you soon. Please no one older than 35 and please be fit. Hope to hear from you soon. Well, hey, you know, there's fit guys out there who like bigger women. You know, I'm not going to falter for that. I'm not a size 2 myself, nor do I have a desire to be. Well, hey, whatever blows up your skirt. You know, so guy, if you're a guy like that and sounds like an interesting young lady, why not give her a shot? She has a job, her own money, so she's clearly not a gold digger. Yes, I want to flirt. Here we go, 40 years old. Hello there. Looking to have fun, flirt, and see what happens. At least make a good friend and the most something that lasts a lifetime. I am 5'4", 130, brown hair and eyes. Email me with stats and put flirt in the subject line so I know no spam. Spam's a big problem on Craigslist, folks. I hate to tell you that. Here we go. Country girl looking for love. This sounds interesting. I am looking for a long or a friend and see where it goes from there. I don't cheat or use and lie at all, and I'm very faithful to man. I am looking for someone that doesn't care what a girl looks like and only cares what's inside that counts. Amen to that. I love fishing and hunting and four-wheeling and farming or anything outside. I am sweet and down-to-earth country girl that is looking for love. Message me your age and where are you from. You know what? That sounds pretty reasonable. And she's an outdoor girl, country girl. Yeah, she sounds like a lot of fun. Guys, hit her up. Let's go. Looking for tall and attractive. This should be bare less. So I'm really looking to find anybody to connect with on a friend level first. Reasonable enough. I'm open to more than that because of what I am looking for in the long